Good morning, welcome to Mr. Bletcher Homeschool. It is Tuesday of week 7 and I'll tell you a little bit about what we've got in store for you. We've got maths where we're carrying on our work from that sock drawer that you rummaged through yesterday. We've got literacy where we're starting a new piece of work on poetry. We've got a bit of word of the day and we've got a science experiment we'd like you to carry out as well. So, lots to get into. First of all, we'll start off with some maths arithmetic questions, and here they are. So now time for some shout-outs. We've got some wonderful artwork from Evie here, a great mosaic design of Winnie the Pooh. So great job, Evie. Next, we've got a Nutella cheesecake by Boyd. This looks absolutely delicious, Boyd. Well done on your food making at home. Some more making and baking, and we have Olivia's buns here with some wonderful unicorn decorations. That looks excellent. And finally, we have Jake's sock tally. It looks like he loves his blue socks and his stripy socks, so well done for getting involved, Jake. So now time for a bit of word of the day. And remember, word of the day is where I introduce a new word to you. I use it in a sentence. It's your job to find out what it means and then use it in a sentence of your own. But be careful when you're using it. Make sure you're using it in the correct context and it makes sense. So the word of the day is agitated. And it says here, she was incredibly agitated by the noise outside. So, what could agitated mean? Find it out, use it in your own sentence. In maths, we've started to look at data. And I sent you off on a bit of a task yesterday. Yes, you had to rummage through your sock drawer and find out the different colours of your socks. Count up how many of each colour that you had. So today, when we're presenting that data, your data will look a lot different to mine. So here we have, grab the pen because I'll need that. Here we have my data. So I made my tally chart yesterday, rummaged through my sock drawer, and then I've changed those tallies into numbers. So I have 12 pairs of blue socks, 6 pairs of white socks, 15 pairs of black socks, will work more than likely, and 3 pairs of yellow socks. So, today we're going to present our data in a chart. We can see here, we've got 2 axes. This one along the bottom is the x-axis, and this one going up and down is the y-axis. Okay, so, first things first, we're going to use the x-axis for the colour, so I'm going to call that C. Okay, that's for the colour, and we're going to say we've got blue, BLU, we've got white, we've got black, BLA, and we've got yellow. Okay, so that's what goes along the x-axis, is the colour of the sock. Along the top, this y-axis will be how many, but we need to think of a suitable number. What could it go up in? Well, if I had it going up in ones, be a little bit fussy. It'd almost be too many. If I had it going up in twos, that might work. I'm going to decide it to go up in fives, and I'm just going to take a little bit more care. So I'm not going to do it on here on screen whilst I'm trying to hold it up. I'm going to do it, and then I'll show you what that looks like. So I've decided that my y-axis will go up in fives. It will be different for you because your data will show different numbers. But again, it's all about making this look as fantastic as it can, make it look presentable. So really think about the gaps, okay, in which your y-axis will go up. And also think about what your maximum number will have to be. Don't make your maximum number 100 if none of your data goes up anywhere near 100. Think carefully. So now it's time to do some plotting. So we start with blue. I have 12 blue pairs of socks. So think about where that's going to be. Well, we know it's going to be between 10 and 15. So roughly about there. Okay. White, 6. So that's roughly going to be at just above the 5 here. Black is 15. That's nice and easy because I've already got a 15, so that will go in line with that. And then yellow is 3, which may be somewhere around here. Okay, so I've plotted those. I'm now going to draw out the bars themselves. So I'll be back in a mo. So there is my data, and it's looking pretty good. What I could do to make it even better is colour in these bars. Could colour this one in blue, this one in black, this one in white, yellow. Leave this in white. Now that I've got some data, I can even ask some questions about it. So I'm going to ask a question, and I want you to see who is the quickest at putting their answer in the comments below. Because children such as James, Harvey, Scarlett, you've been absolutely fantastic at getting your answers quick. So we'll see who the quickest is out of you guys. So, what is the difference between the number of black pairs of socks I have and the number of yellow pairs of socks I have? So what is the difference between the number of black pairs, the number of yellow pairs? That's your question for the comment below. Anyway, I've done my little demonstration on how to set out your data today. Have a go yourselves, send in your work. We'd love to see how you've presented your data. We'd also love to see what's your favourite colour of sock. So, well done on your letter writing yesterday. We're now moving on to poetry. And before we move on to poetry, we're going to look at different sort of poetic devices you can use when writing poetry. And the first one of that is alliteration. Okay, so I'm going to give you some examples of alliteration, then tell you what alliteration is and also what alliteration isn't. That might sound a little bit strange, but I'm sure hopefully it'll make sense soon. So, an example of alliteration. There we are. The sneaky snake is an example of alliteration, particularly this part, sneaky snake. Let's think of another one. I've got another one there. The weary, worried woman. Okay, so what are you noticing about alliteration? Well, hopefully you've noticed that these bits of alliteration have begun with the same letter. Okay, also began with an S, and these have begun with a W. But alliteration isn't about words that begin with the same letter. Okay, and here's why. Fred phoned a friend. Okay, Fred and phoned don't begin with the same letter. Okay, they don't begin with the same letter, but it's still alliteration. That's because alliteration is when you have a series of words, okay, that begin with the same sound. We have for Fred and for phoned. Fred phoned a friend. There we have alliteration. Okay, just to prove that point, Chris chomped. Okay, they both have the same letters, CH and CH, but different sounds. We have Chris, the cr and ch. Okay, so that isn't alliteration. Now, your task is simple. Can you come up with 3 sentences that involve alliteration? Off you go. So, time for some science. I want to talk forces. Okay, we're quite familiar with some forces such as gravity. Okay, we're quite familiar with gravity, but I also want us to think about another force that's working at the same time as gravity. Okay, so do that again. We see gravity, but there's something that's working whilst gravity is working, and that's air resistance. Air resistance is working the other way as gravity. Air resistance is almost holding things up, sort of. But gravity is the force that is much stronger. That's what makes sure that when we do jump up, we don't just float away. Now, to prove that point, I have 2 items here. I have a tissue box and I have a tissue. Okay. Now, I'm going to drop both of these. But think about how they differ. So first of all, with the tissue box, and then with the tissue, I'm going to hold it a bit further up. Think about how that drops. Okay, what was different? We'll try it again. So there's the tissue box, and there's the tissue. What was different? Now, you might be thinking it's to do with weight. You might think it's to do with something else, okay? Because what we are going to do is an experiment to do with surface area. Surface area is the amount of space or area that an object takes up. So if we take a look at the surface area of this item, it's sort of here, that surface area going downwards, whereas this one it's much larger. Okay, so if we hold out the tissue like this and drop it, it takes a while. But if I change that surface area, okay, and I limit that surface area, okay, the area that it takes up now is much smaller. Think about how it changes, how the air resistance is different now. Much more different. So, here's what we're going to do, okay? In the next few moments, 2 different screens will appear. First one will have instructions on how to carry out a scientific experiment today. Then after that will be a chart that I'd like you to draw up that will show you how to sort of represent your data. So it sort of links to our maths as well. So all you'll need is to carry out this experiment is a piece of paper. That's all you'll need, and the ability to fold that piece of paper. So I'm sure it's something we can all get involved with. So the instructions for the scientific experiment are here.
Mr. Bletcher's homeschool. It's got fun and games like countdown and some arts and crafts, science, nature, and lots of numeracy, maths and art and literacy, cooking, music, geography. Mr. Bletcher's homeschool is full of fun and games.